Hi everyone! I've started making a personal list on which heroes I'm keeping and sending home because my barracks are now full, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on the green heroes with you today. As a disclaimer, I only recommend sending home heroes when your barracks are full, and even so, to try to keep at least one copy of each unit. Also, my list will not include 5-star exclusive heroes, nor Grand Hero Battle heroes, as I want to keep all of those heroes. And most importantly, this is just my opinion and it will differ from person to person depending on what type of heroes and what type of skills they value more. First, I'll talk about units that I try to keep as many copies of as possible because I feel that they've got pretty good stuff for skills inheritance. First up is Frederick, and Frederick is able to pass down Luna at 4 stars. Luna is a useful 3-turn cooldown special, which is a good alternative to Draconic Aura when you're trying to cut through enemies with particularly high defenses, and the only other way you can get Luna is through Katria at 4 stars and above. He also gets Wings of Mercy 2 at 4 stars, which is always a nice addition to arena defense teams for unpredictability, and he also gets Fortify Defense 3 at 4 stars, though this is less commonly used. Next is Barracks, and why he's all the way up here is because at 3 stars he can pass on Reposition, and I do consider Reposition to be one of the best and most valuable assist skills in the game. Barracks also has Spur Attack 3 at 4 stars and Knockback at 3 stars, but really the main reason why you want him would be for Reposition. Next on this list is the very cute Green Dragon Fae, and I love the little roar sound that she makes. And the main reason why you want her is because she's the only source of Renewal 3 at 4 stars. Renewal is a good skill for tanky units to make them even more tanky, and it's also an interesting skill to use for the purposes of HP management, whereby a tanky unit with lots of HP can get Renewal and at the same time use Ardent Sacrifice to heal their teammates without actually having a dedicated healer on your team. As a unit herself, Fae is actually a really interesting unit with a lot of potential with skill inheritance. Fae's base stat total is slightly higher than average, and her stats make her super bulky. And being a dragon, she does have the option of inheriting Lightning Breath, which will allow her to counter from any distance. Next we have Camilla, who at 4 stars gets Draconic Aura, and Draconic Aura is a great 3-10 cooldown special for any unit with a high base attack. Camilla is also the only source of Savage Blow 3 at 4 stars at the moment, but this skill is really niche and not really used in the context of arena. It might be useful for someone like Jafar, who is a chip damager, to provide an area of effect damage. Camilla also has a Brave Axe, but of all the axe units, Camilla has one of the lowest base attacks. A Brave Axe would be good to inherit onto an axe unit with high base attack, like Sheshe. Nino herself is a really good unit. With a high base speed and high attack, she fulfills the role of a nuking mage really nicely, and on top of that, she already comes with the Groundblade Tome. You definitely want to keep a plus speed Nino for consideration of promotion in future. Skills inheritance wise, you probably want to keep a couple of copies of Nino to inherit Groundblade for your future Horse Emblem, Flyer Emblem, or simply if you want to build another nuke mage in future. And Nino also has Drawback at 3 stars, which is a nice alternative to Reposition for mages. In addition, having Drawback on your ranged unit in an arena defense team can often make it harder for your enemies to bait the AI, as the AI might end up using Drawback to help keep your team closer together. Next, I talk about units which I try to keep a few copies of, and often these units do have good skills, but may not have it at the highest level at 4 stars. First up is Arthur, and he's the only one who gets Lancebreaker outside of Narshan, who is Grand Hero Battle exclusive. Lancebreaker is good to give to blue and green units with medium to low speeds to help double other lance units and secure a kill. Unfortunately, Arthur only gets Lancebreaker 2 at 4 stars. Lancebreaker 2 is still a really usable skill, as you usually start your battle at full health, and so most people won't notice a big difference in using Lancebreaker 3 and Lancebreaker 2. That said, using incomplete skill chains will get you less arena points over time. Arthur also has Swap at 3 stars, which is a good skill to put on defensive tanks. Next we have Hawkeye, and he's the only one who can unlock Threaten Attack 3 at 4 stars. That's it, this skill is difficult to use in the context of the current arena because so many units are now focused on one-shotting each other that it will actually be difficult to get into a position to use Threaten Attack effectively. If you do want to use it, it's probably best placed on a tanky unit, allowing them to go to the front line, tank more hits, and proc their specials. The other thing Hawkeye has is Deathblow 2 at 4 stars, and unfortunately it's really hard to get Deathblow 3 because only Klein has it at 4 stars. And even Deathblow 2 can be difficult to find as currently the heroes who have it can only be found at 4 stars and above. Deathblow works really well with brave weapons, so it's nice to keep some Hawkeyes as backup Deathblow 2 fodder just in case you can't find Klein. I do tend to prefer using Attack plus 3 or Fury 3 compared to Deathblow 2 itself. And that's why I keep a couple of copies of Cersei because she, like Gordon, gets Attack plus 3 at 4 stars. And though this is often outclassed by Life and Death 3, Fury 3, and Deathblow 3, those skills can be difficult to find at the level 3 version, and so having an Attack plus 3 is a nice backup. She also has Pivot at 3 stars, which is nice to give to armored units to give them extra mobility. As a unit, Cersei has a really high base attack, and coupled with a Brave Axe, she really shines as an offensive powerhouse. Next, I talk about units that I keep just a spare copy of, usually just for niche reasons. Bart has Brush Assault 3 at 4 stars, Fury 2 at 4 stars, and Smite. The main reason why I keep him is for a backup Fury 2 fodder when I don't have enough Hinatas. Brush Assault is difficult to use as by the time it activates, most units tend to be very nearly dead, and most of the slower units would rather have a skill that helps them double when they're at full health, such as a Breaker skill or a Quick Riposte. Smite as a positioning skill is much less practical than Reposition, and on top of that, the AI tends to use Smite really poorly. Next up we have Cecilia, and if you put Cecilia with a Blade Tome onto a Horse Emblem team, she can be pretty destructive. Skills inheritance wise, she offers Escape Route 3 at 4 stars, and Rally Resistance. Neither of these skills are too sought after at the moment. She does have the Grand Raven Tome, which is good for a bulky green mage, and coupled with Triangle Adept, they can become a specialist, colorless, and blue counter. Next up is Gunter, and the main reason why you want to keep a copy of him is so that he can pass down his own cavalry when you do decide to make your Horse Emblem team. Sheena has Fortify Armor at 4 stars, and this might be useful one day for Armor Emblem, but that's it. Armor Emblem is really expensive and I don't think I'll ever be able to afford it. She also comes with Surveillance Shield at 4 stars, and this is exclusive to armored units. Unfortunately, armored units don't really benefit that much by having this skill, and you could probably use their A slot for better users. Last, I talk about units who I only keep the best IV copy of, usually because they don't offer that much for skills inheritance. Skills inheritance wise, Veruca really has very little to offer. She's got Glimmer, Lunge, and Defiant Defense at 4 stars. Glimmer is probably the least popular offensive special, and that's because it multiplies your raw damage output, and often this works out to be less than the multiplier of your raw attack, defense, or rest stat which you can get with Draconic Aura, Bonfire, or Iceberg. And Lunge as a skill usually does not end your team in a favorable position. Next up is Merrick, and as a unit he's really unique and good in his own way. He's a bulky mage, and at 5 stars he gets a unique tome that's super effective against flying units. Unfortunately, Merrick does not have much for his skills inheritance. He's got Spurus 3 at 4 stars and Growing Wind at 4 stars. If I ever had spare Merricks, I would either send them home or merge them at 4 stars so that if I ever want to promote to 5 stars, I will get a discounted number of feathers required. Raven is also similar to Merrick in the sense that he's got very little for skills inheritance, but Raven in his own right has a nice stat spread and is a decent axe unit himself. For skills inheritance, at 4 stars, Raven offers Defiant Speed 3, Soul, and Threaten Defense 2. Threaten Defense is actually a nice C-slot skill for bulky frontline attackers, but Michaelis as well as Perry are able to get threat and defense 3 at 4 stars. Though if you don't have those heroes, Raven would be a nice backup source of threat and defense too. And that's all the units I will be discussing today. Until next time, see ya!